Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to be updating you on the current situation on Sunderland's, well, mainly outgoings, because there's very little news in terms of incomings. There's the odd little rumour here and there, but it's from very unreliable sources. The only sort of credible bit of news we do have is the Ukrainian lad Rusin, or Rusin, I don't know how you pronounce the name. I always pronounce names wrong. He seems to be sort of dead on route to Sunderland as we speak. I believe there was a flight tracker showing that he is on his way to Sunderland, so that's going to be a decent sign-in from what I've seen. Again, if it is to happen anyway, you never know with Sunderland. All we've had is YouTube compilations on him. I know we can play all across the front three. He looks like a relatively exciting player. But we're going to focus on outgoings again. Of course, yesterday I discussed at length my thought process on Ross Stewart. I'm probably going to end up touching upon that again because he is involved in this video. But as it stands, and as the title may suggest, there is potential that Sunderland are going to get absolutely rinsed over the next 48 hours, and we need backup if this is to happen. So firstly, of course, we do have the Sunderland-Southampton link with Ross Stewart. Now, apparently we have not responded to the last bid as of yet. As I'm recording this, we have not responded, and we are holding out for none less than, it might be between 10-15 million, and I think they might be just under that. Which, if that's the case, we're holding out for max value, which is great. Ideally, we don't want to get rid of our best players, but if the money's right, that's just the nature of the business, and Southampton have the money to do it. However, Southampton have been looking at other strikers as well, like Cannon, who we've been linked with ourselves. But Tony Mowbray has just said in his press conference there, he'd actually just come straight from a boardroom meeting with the owners and of course the scouting department and all that kind of stuff. But he's left that meeting. So when interviewers and reporters were asking him, what's the situation with Ross Stewart? Is he staying? Is he going? He said he has no idea. He said the people who are in charge of that kind of stuff, they're in a meeting right now and he's not a part of it. So he, as a coach, he's not the first team manager, the first team coach. That's the way that does kind of work. Of course, you do have a moderate input, but he did say, Tony Mowbray, if common sense does prevail, you would think that unless there is a knight in shining armour ready to come in to replace Ross Stewart, then he would never be sold. He won't be sold at all, which again, that is common sense. And he also said, in football, I can't remember the exact term he did use. He said something about, I think it was long live the king or something like that. So when one king leaves, he knows that everyone worships Ross Stewart. Another one comes in, and if they start banging the goals, they become the hero, and before you know it, you forget about Ross Stewart, which is exactly the case. That is true. But again, he did say that he just hopes to God that common sense does prevail, because it is common sense that you shouldn't be letting your best players go if you don't have a replacement to come in, to at least attempt to pick up that slack that Ross Stewart did have. Granted, he's injured for a large part, or he has been injured for a large part, but we know he's going to bag goals. We need someone to come in and start bagging goals. Now, when I say I feel like we might get rinsed, this is what I mean. So, over the last hour or so, another report has came that Southampton are not only looking at Ross Stewart, but they are now genuinely looking at Patrick Roberts. Which, my God, can you imagine, with a day or so to go until deadline, can you imagine if Stewart and Patrick Roberts went out the door? For me, Patrick Roberts, we should not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell, because the only players that currently, when we don't have a striker anyway, the only players that make us look even moderately threatening is Clark on one side and Roberts on the other. And guess what? Apparently Burnley have just come in with a final offer of 15 million for Jack Clark. Can you imagine the devastating effect it would have on not just the club, but the squad in general, if Stewart goes, if Clark goes, and if Roberts goes? Do you know what? If out of them I needed to get rid of them at the moment, it might even be Stewart, because he's shown that he's not necessarily 100% committed. He's injured at the minute, and we could try and get another striker in. But at the moment, our game plan, it revolves so heavily around the likes of Roberts, who's an outstanding talent for this level. Clark, and yeah, he can be very frustrating, but he is incredibly good for this level as well when on form. And we've done largely well, and a large part of our success in the Championship came without a striker and without Ross Stewart. So that's the only reason I would say that. Fully fit Ross Stewart, he can be the best striker in the league. He can be, with no exaggeration. I know that's a fact. But we are so used to, and we know that we can get success with Roberts, with Clark, and we can maybe take a gamble on another player. And you would like to think that any money that does go from the likes of Ross Stewart, it's going to go straight back into the squad, which is exactly what Tony Mowbray said. But yeah, we currently have potentially, again, it is largely rumours, but Ross Stewart, Jack Clarke and Patrick Roberts, as well as Lyndon Gooch. So Lyndon Gooch, I would hate to see Lyndon Gooch leave. There's rumours that Preston are after him. There has been for a while now, but it's popped up again today, so I thought I'd throw that one in there. That would be 4 relatively key players, mind you. I know Trey Hume at the minute is first name on the team sheet when it comes to a right back. I love Trey Hume. I think the improvement in that lad has been incredible. God, it's been colossal. His rise has been absolutely fantastic. But Gooch still absolutely has his value, and I know that he's going to want first team football. I think he's going to struggle at the moment with Trey Hume playing at right back. He's going to struggle to get in, but Gooch absolutely does have his value. Even if you stick him on the right wing or wherever, left back when he needs to fill in or whatever, he's going to want to start. So it is difficult to see. Particularly, you've got Roberts, who generally plays on the right side. You've got Hume, like I say. But he does have his value. I don't think he's a terrible player. He's improved and he's a very good versatile player for us. And, maybe it is just a little bit of, he's been here since the youth. He's been here for so long. He's the longest serving player at the moment for the club. Maybe I have that in that sort of bias in my head if I don't want him to leave. But I still do believe he can do a job. 100%. He's a very, very valuable player. But every player wants to start and he might not get that. So that is it, guys. That's the sort of update. And it isn't exactly a positive one. With Stewart potentially going out the door. Roberts, Clarke, Gooch. There's actually been rumours again about Bart as well. So that's a 5th. But I'm not too sure about Bart. He has, apparently, I know that he nearly went to Blackburn, but apparently he's turned them down. He wants to fight for a place. And I love that, by the way. I really, really like Danny Bart. And I want him to stay. I want him to fight for his place. Of course, Ballard and 09 have been great so far. But I do really, really like Bart. And I think against certain teams that like to play long ball or like to play physical game, he's ideal for that. But when you've got teams that allow us to keep hold of the ball, then the likes of 09 in there, he's a lot better because he's a lot better on the ball. But I love Bart. So that's 5 players. So that's 5 that I've just riddled off in, 7 minutes. Stewart, Clarke, Roberts, Gooch and Bart. Did I say that right? I think I did say that right. So potentially all those 5 players could be going. And Tony Mowbray's expecting or is hoping that it's going to be a very, very busy next sort of 24 hours, also 36 hours. And I think all Sunderland fans are as well, because otherwise we're going to be screwed. I just hope to God we're not going to get, absolutely rinsed in the next 24 hours. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, you let me know what you guys think about all those potential links and players. Who would you be most happy to see go? Or maybe not most happy, or least bothered, should we say? Who would you be least bothered? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you have enjoyed, it is just an update. I know it is negative, but the like button really does help. So please hit it if you can, and subscribe if you are new. But for now, take care and stay jamming.